Thanks for your understanding. Friendship circles are now being formed. They begin in October. If you haven't signed up for one yet, there will be someone in the lobby with a clipboard and a sign-up sheet, or you can sign up online at bit.ly/friendship2627. Don't forget to join a circle. Join us for the March's 45th annual summer picnic. On Sunday, July 26th, after service at their home farm. Please make sure to note important announcements listed at the back on the opposite page in the order of service. Scan the QR codes at the bottom with your phone for more information on events, activities, updates, and information for newcomers. There are no religious education classes today, so after the time for all ages, our children and youth are invited to stay for the entire service right here in the sanctuary. For families with very young children who would like childcare today during worship, our nursery is staffed and available downstairs. Whoever you are, whomever you love, we are glad your faith journey brought you here today. The mission of this congregation is to nurture a loving community, inspire lifelong spiritual and personal growth, and act for a better world. We welcome all of you joining us in person and online. If you're joining us for the first time, we invite you to visit our welcome desk in the lobby to fill out a newcomer card, or send an email to welcome@uucy.org so that we might get to know you better. Now, let us mark this time made sacred by our presence by taking a collective breath. Again, welcome to UUCY today.
As we enter into the sacred, let's listen to the sound of the bell. Follow its sound, listen to how it diminishes, like a mini meditation.
As we light the chalice, the symbol of our living tradition here in the sanctuary, you're also invited to light a chalice or a candle of your own if you're joining us remotely. This morning, our words are by Sherry Woodbury. Whether by habit or out of need, whether in body or through cyberspace, you entered this sanctuary. Light shining sky inside, open space for hearts and minds. There is no separation here of the sacred from the profane. No setting apart from the natural world. For nothing can be more precious than the ordinary beauty of the seasons or the stirrings of the human spirit. Let us bring then our holy hearts and our sacred bits of the earth into this place of ritual and song. Let us once more commingle the elements of heaven and earth in this shrine of interconnection. Come, let us worship together. And our opening hymn today is number 1007, There's a River Flowin' in My Soul.
We will be doing the first 3 verses, and we will take the repeated section 2 times.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Sure, thank you very much. And I would like to invite the young and young at heart to come join me for the story that we have this morning. As you carefully make your way up. Hello, hello. And this morning we will be reading The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Pages were sticky. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled. "Just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good strong jab. There! Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. "Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name." The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see that what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn, her dot, all framed in swirly gold. I can make a better dot than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted a red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with the yellow, she discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting lots of little dots in many, many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on a bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot without painting a dot. Vashti discovered negative space. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're really a great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle. And then she said, "Please, sign it." The end. Thank you all, and if we could, I think we're singing everybody back to their seats. If everybody can get up.
We come now to that time in our service each week we call Matters of the Heart. This is a time to share the joys and sorrows, the small moments of happiness, and the deepening concerns that reside within our hearts. You may submit something for Matters of the Heart anytime during the week by visiting uucy.org/MOTH. Or you may fill out a slip on Sunday morning and simply set it up right here. We also read Matters of the Heart that are submitted in the Zoom chat by those joining us online. And we have one of gratitude and appreciation for the support and efforts of Daniel, Denise, and Cole as they enhance this service with their musical talent. During the summer church season, and without music director or choir rehearsals, our musicians oftentimes have to go out of their way to prepare their musical offerings. We light a candle of appreciation for the many hearts and hands who offer their gifts of service. As we learn their names and faces, may extend our own gratitude to again Denise and Cole for facilitating our hymn singing today, and Daniel for his musical talents, Katie for greeting us at the door, Steve and Steve for serving as ushers, Patty and Sandy for counting our collections, and Marta for brewing our coffee. But I'm pretty sure I saw Deb Goniak in there too. So, and Diane, Charlie, Doug, and Sarah for keeping us online all over the world. And let's see, I don't see anything in the chat here today. We also take this moment to recognize the countless non-financial contributions that keep our congregation going. Each of us contributes to our congregation just by being here, by bringing your joy and your struggles, your questions, and your faith. May all those who labor remain unnamed feel held by our expensive gratitude and forgive us for our omissions. May we increase our awareness of all invisible ways we share in this sacred work. And we will light one final candle this morning for all that remains unspoken within your hearts. It may feel too large or maybe too small to share. You may not be ready to hear it read out loud, but please know that our community holds these with you in silence, even if the words never come out. We honor all that we carry within us and know that the flame of our faith kindled here resides within us also at all times. So may it ever be. Our reading today is called A Holy Alchemy, and it's by Kim Mason. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold or death into life. We laugh, but are we not also in the business of alchemy here today? Turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, and faith into action. The subtle magic of church combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals into community. Here, we engage in holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the present. Here, we can be transformed together.
Today's homily comes in two parts. The first part is a sermon that we have permission. It was borrowed from the Soul Matters packet. And then the second part of the homily is my own work. So these are words from Reverend Brigitte Bechtold. When my son was 5 years old, we lived just south of Washington, D.C., in a place surrounded by nature. He played in the grass, the bushes, the trees, the marshy areas near the Potomac River. One day he came home with a face that was rather unrecognizable because he had touched poison ivy with his hands. Then he touched his face, which had become quite itchy, and pretty soon his eyes were swollen almost shut. His cheeks were puffy, and he was a bit bloody where he had scratched himself. He was so miserable, even after I patted his face with cool compress and gave him some medication. So we decided to cheer him up by taking him to his favorite restaurant, the Dixie Pig, on Richmond Highway close to our home. It's still there. That did indeed cheer him up, especially with the huge ice cream for dessert. All was well until the moment I heard someone at the next table say quite loudly to their companion and pointing at my son, "Have you ever seen such an ugly child?" I was infuriated. Couldn't they see that my kid was a beautiful little boy? What business was it of theirs anyway? I never felt more protective of my child, and I never forgot that sentence, "Have you ever seen such an ugly child?" Decades later, this episode still grates on me. I ask myself, how do we decide what is beautiful and what is ugly? What is beauty anyway? A mother thinks their own child is beautiful, and there are quite a few things I find beautiful that others do not. Upstairs in my house, in the bedroom used by grandchildren, there's a space on the wall where their heights are recorded. When they visit in the summer, one of the first things they do is to go up there and have their height marked on the wall under their name. All those little lines arranged in columns are a beautiful thing to me. I wouldn't dream of ever repainting that wall. It's a record of life. I told my son about this practice last summer when he came to visit. This was the same son who had the poison ivy mishap. Now, he too wanted to have his height recorded. So his daughters stood on a chair, one holding the ruler and the other marking the height. Now the wall is even more precious. It is beautiful. So, beauty seems to be a concept that has many dimensions. I decided to learn more about beauty in relation to cultural values, and in the process, I read about the multiple meanings of beauty in different cultures. One author kept noticing that he found the strangest things beautiful, like a wall with peeling paint. And because of my own practice as a Zen Buddhist, I had learned a bit about Japanese concepts of beauty, and this became helpful in my query. One concept relates to a simple, restrained elegance that is free of clutter, and another captures something that is mysterious. And then there's the notion of something being beautiful because it is wabi-sabi. Wabi meaning poverty in the sense of something that is lacking or stripped away, and sabi meaning loneliness or being alone. Together, they indicate something imperfect, lonely, weathered, tarnished, maybe cracked. Its exquisite beauty is in the imperfection. In a Japanese tea ceremony, for example, the most prized teacups are those that are old, with cracked glaze, that have an imperfectly executed design, obviously made by hand and unique. The most honored guest receives tea in one of the most imperfect cups, and with the imperfection turned toward them so that it faces the person. Like a human being who has wrinkled skin or walks with a limp, The imperfect teacup shows real life, well lived and well used. My little boy, who was so imperfect for a while, was wabi-sabi. Imperfections are a part of life. That scar we got during a childhood adventure, probably one that took us to places where our parents explicitly told us not to go. I have one of those. The old, often mended wool sweater, I have one of those too. The creases around the eyes of our beloved. The face of a child who had a poison ivy encounter. Yes, something ugly can be beautiful. I saw that there's a website with the name reclaimugly.org. Really? It describes its mission like this. Join Reclaim Ugly to rewrite and decolonize your understanding of beauty from white supremacy, the patriarchy, transmisogyny, fat phobia, ableism, and other systems of oppression. This mission fits perfectly in our Unitarian Universalist journey to create the beloved community where all are welcome. At this point of my thinking and reading, I thought I had pretty much figured it out, but not quite. I needed to read a poem by Sappho to really get it. The Greek poet Sappho, who was born in the 7th century before the Common Era, on the Greek island of Lesbos, captured two essential points about beauty in a short poem which we know only as Poem 16. The first relates to the fact that Sappho lived in a highly militarized culture, and so, not surprisingly, this poem explores beauty in reference to the military, because that's the kind of society she lived in. But Sappho's second point is the crucial one. Listen for it at the end of the poem, which goes like this. Some say an army of horsemen, some of foot soldiers, some of ships is the fairest thing on this black earth. But I say it is what one loves. Sappho hit the nail on the head. What we love is beauty. It's beautiful. As a mother, when my son was little, of course I thought he was beautiful. Being defaced by poison ivy made no difference to that. Beauty is what we pour into our lives. Let me repeat that. Beauty is what we pour our love into. Beauty is what we nurture. So how can we get more beauty in our life? Nurture people, things, places, books, music, trees, and so on. What we love, what we nurture is beauty. Beauty is not just in the eye of the beholder, as the saying goes. Beauty is in the heart of the beholder, and may it be so. And now I'd like to take us into another realm of seeing. As a tag on to Reverend Brigitte's sermon, I'd like to present another perspective on seeing beauty, the beauty right in front of us. As most of you know, somehow I gain your trust in taking photographs during our services and other events. Perhaps it was merely serendipity. Anyway, I'm happy to share these memories with any one of you. I also share my best photographs with Sarah in the church office. Notice I didn't say the most beautiful, the best. They're better than beautiful. I find it personally rewarding to be taking these photographs, and it's a privilege. It's one that I cherish. Other times, as I wander with the camera, I sometimes look for a little frame of reality that, while perhaps ordinary looking, speaks an astute message from the universe, one and the same, about beauty. This concept of capturing the ordinary seems to be the direction my hobby is leading me toward. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Much of my life, both the adult and the child, I found it easy and useful to not feel lack in ordinariness. Perhaps it was my heart seeing and feeling grateful for that ordinary beauty. The German-born photographer, teacher, and lecturer has something to... Wait a minute. I didn't mean to imply that you're all ordinary. No, far from it. And I mean that in a good way. The German-born photographer, teacher, and lecturer Joachim Brahm says it this way: most of our lives unfold in familiar and overlooked spaces. By waiting for the extraordinary, we miss the beauty around us, and perhaps the essence of life as we know it. As a Unitarian Universalist, this next statement from Joachim really plucks a musical chord. I look at places and marginal areas with all their seeming lack of significance or even irrelevance. The seeming nothing is never truly empty. Rather, it's a call to look deeper. He's reminding us to take that deeper look because beauty doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't try to show off. But when you're intentionally still, it will reveal itself. Taking a little memory trip with this concept of intentionally being still, I remember well the words spoken to me by an educational environmentalist I'd known for a while. He would remind me that when one is outside in nature, they don't have to look hard to see its beauty. Just sit still. It will show itself to you. Another beloved and highly influential educator and publisher of numerous works, Larry Sultan. He taught at the San Francisco Art Institute for numerous years and served as a distinguished professor of photography at California College of the Arts in San Francisco. Larry says, we all have some kind of route that is familiar to us. Finding value in seeing what you've always seen often leads to finding more value everywhere. Now for this photo buff, this concept of not missing the beauty around us often results in my revisiting familiar and already frequented places, seeing them again and again, and seeing the constant change showing itself, naturally evolving as it will. Can you understand how this practice of seeing can render the ordinary into extraordinary? I'd like to quote someone who I believe is a friend to many of us individually and is a friend to UUCY community. This from our photographer and musical friend, Lauren Natz. In her book, she tells us, in my travels across Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania she's referring to, these photographs are the experiences that I treasure the most. These scenes, working farms, Amish children riding bikes in the summer while holding on to their hats. Harnessed workhorses plowing open fields in the fall. Clotheslines stretched across porches and outbuildings all year long. They feed me and fill me with deep appreciation for family, the sustainability of the land, and for the simple beauty that still exists if we look for it. That from Lauren's book, The Gatekeeper. And so I'm an amateur, and maybe a little skill passed down from my grandpa David and from my dad. But I've caught the bug of this closer look into beauty around us. It's much bigger than photography itself. Rather, it's a broad-shouldered bug that we might best adopt into our lives if we haven't already. Gods know there's a lot going on to totally distract us from the beauty around us. So where are we looking? What kind of gear are we using? Are we looking with our eyes? Or as Reverend Brigitte guides us, with our heart? I'm of the understanding that with an open heart, we can better see with our eyes. And now we'll join together as we sing hymn number 298, Wake Now My Senses. We will sing the first 3 verses.
We now invite you into a spirit of generosity as we collect our weekly offering. Each month, we commit to share our collection with a community organization that upholds our values. This month, we share the plate partner is UUCY PA. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant to affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We endeavor to create beloved communities and to uphold the democratic process. But these values cannot live on the pages of our principles alone. They require bold, sustained action in our state capital and within our local communities. That is why UU Justice PA exists. For 15 years, this small but powerful state advocacy network has united people of conscience to speak truth to power in Harrisburg and to ensure love ripples above the Commonwealth and across the Commonwealth. Every step towards justice requires dedicated action. Your generosity funds education to build awareness and action focused on 7 broad social justice initiatives. It funds grassroots mobilization and partnering with larger organizations that align with our social justice values. State legislative tracking, keeping our 36 supporting congregations informed on critical bills that are targeting advocacy alerts and organizing strategies that connect Pennsylvanians directly to their lawmakers every day. Your donation ensures a persistent, progressive faith voice that remains strong in PA policy. So they thank you for your support. The ushers will now collect the offering. If this is your first time visiting with us, please feel free to let the basket pass you by. Your presence today is our gift. And Daniel will offer us some offertory music. Please join us in extinguishing our chalice and your home chalices if you have lit them with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Ordinariness can be so beautiful if your heart is open to see it. But how do we open our hearts? Perhaps our faith is the key. Our faith, whatever stage it's in, has brought us here to this community where we are free to cherish our doubts, look deeply into them, and seek to know how to live according to our true nature. We came here to learn to be more compassionate, to love whomever we choose to love, to learn to accept those who are different than ourselves. But still the question remains, how do we open our hearts? I'm not sure that I can answer that, but maybe the Spirit can. How about we let the Spirit, that power greater than ourselves, guide us, and perhaps a few photographs. Let's see what they say to us.
You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do. Oh Lord, you got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 You got to sing when that Spirit says sing. Sing when the Spirit you got to sing when that Spirit says sing. Sing, sing, sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing. Oh Lord, you got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing, Spirit says sing, Spirit says sing, Spirit says sing, Spirit says sing.
You got to groove when the Spirit says groove.
You gotta be grooving, you gotta be
You
grooving.
got to groove when the Spirit says groove.
You have got to groove.
When the Spirit says groove, you've got to groove, oh Lord. You've got to groove
Got to
when the
groove.
Spirit says groove.
Says groove.
Spirit says groove. Spirit says groove. Spirit says groove. Spirit says groove. Spirit says groove. Spirit says groove.
You got to rock when the Spirit says rock. You got to rock when the Spirit says rock. When the Spirit says rock, you got to rock, oh Lord. You got to rock when the Spirit says rock. 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 Spirit says rock.
Check it. Yo, I had to call before I walk and now I do the 1-2 step. I heard the Spirit and it said the groove, yeah. That's why I do my own shuffle, tapping feet, clapping hands. If you could talk, you could sing. If you could walk, you could dance. Spirit told me bust the track with the vocals, and I come around your city rocking with the locals. Fading out, got my eyes closed. I think the Lord talking to me, gotta get up all in my zone. Candle gazing after doing Kundalini. I wrote it in my journal, trying to find the true meaning. It ain't gonna happen overnight, I really ain't stressing. I'ma get the blessing. I don't need Google directions, I just follow Spirit. I think I start to hear it. The elders talk about alignment, I just start to get near it. Walk along the path, with or without a clue. When the Spirit says do, I make it do what it do. Come on.
Do when the Spirit says do.
Oh yeah.
You got to do.
Y'all know what it's like when the Spirit says do. I mean, you just gotta do what it do. I know right now with some Spirit talking to you inside and it's telling you to do something. And whatever that is, go with it, alright? The Spirit says do. Spirit says Spirit says do, and you know what? I'ma do what I do. You go ahead and do what you do. And that's how we gonna do what